Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Cadillacquer. In today's video we are unboxing part 2 of my mainstream mystery box. This is actually turning into more of like a salon brand unboxing, so I'm seeing a lot of OPIs, Creative Nail Lacquer, and Zoya's. We've also had some from Nicole by OPI, so mainly salon brands, I would say. So in part number 1, to recap, we unboxed 54 full-sized bottles and 1 little OPI mini. I'm very curious to see how much more we're going to unbox because there's still quite a few bottles in here. And also to recap on the price, I paid, I think, $43, which included the shipping. This was a listing that I found on Facebook Marketplace, and the seller listed it actually just below me down in Oregon. But she was kind enough to work with me on getting it shipped, and this is the result. So let's go ahead and dig into part 2 and see how many other bottles we can find. All right. So the first one that we're pulling out is an OPI. This one is called Rosy Future. This looks like a shimmer polish, kind of like a light blush with some blue shift in there. I'm seeing pink and purple. This is the kind of shimmer polish that I probably had very early on. I think I had a few from Maybelline or L'Oreal that were sort of this shimmer toppers. I haven't used them as frequently now that my collection is as large, but I am curious to see how this compares to those other polishes and see if I like this as sort of a Your Nails But Better look or as a transformative top coat. And it is one that I don't have, so we will add that to the collection. That was OPI's Rosy Future. All right, next up we have a China Glaze. So it is a mainstream box. We do have some mainstreams. Okay, this one is called Moonlight. It's got a little bit of like sticker residue or something on it. Moonlight. Well, this one seems to be a white, maybe a very slight off-white. Not my favorite color. I do have quite a lot of white creams that I have been keeping to do some comparisons of, see what subtle differences there are, how the formulas are, etc. But this one's not calling to me. It does lean a little bit yellow, so I think I will go ahead and destash this one. It's almost looking eggnoggish on camera, so we're going to destash that one. The next one is by Creative Nail Designs. This one is called Hollywood. This is a red polish with some gold shimmer. This is another color that just isn't my favorite. I do enjoy some reds, but as my regulars will know, you've probably heard me say so many times by now, reds just aren't my favorite. I usually like them in the deeper burgundy shades, oxbloods, or ones that have a pinch of a berry tone to it or a pink lean. These true reds or orange leaning reds just aren't my favorite. They aren't ones that speak to me, and this one also does have quite a predominant gold shimmer, so I will be passing this one along. Next up we have another one by Creative Nail Designs. This one is called Lighten Up. This one is kind of like a light peachy neutral shade. Again, not my favorite on my skin tone, so I will be passing this one along. Ooh, I see some Nicole by OPIs. This one is called Turbo Teal. This is a beautiful one and definitely a color that I enjoy. It's also one that I don't have. This is a beautiful teal and you have this purple shift in it. Maybe that's coming across. Let's see if I can't. There we go. See that purple? So it's got a beautiful shimmer in it. This is definitely one that I want to add to my collection. That is a Nicole by OPI's Turbo Teal. Next up we have another Nicole by OPI. This one is called Holidays Glaze. And actually we did unbox a bottle of this in video number 1, and it is a gorgeous polish. I don't need 2 of them though, so I will be destashing 1 bottle. This is a beautiful like dusty rose pink, and there's also a golden shimmer in there that sort of accentuates the middle of the hollow flame. Very, very beautiful. So I will be destashing 1, keeping the other. Next up, I see another Nicole by OPI. This one is called Fanatical Fuchsia. This is a gorgeous shade. You have that fuchsia berry base. This one also has some blue shimmer in it. This is another one that I don't have. I actually don't think I have, at least before this box, I don't think I had that many Nicole by OPIs, just maybe a handful. But this is a gorgeous shade. I love the rich tone to it. It does need a little bit of thinner to help thin it down, but it is a gorgeous color. So that one was Nicole by OPI's Fanatical Fuchsia. Ooh, I see a Zoya in here. This one is called LC. LC. Interesting. So this bottle is in a little bit of a rough shape. It has a little bit of, I don't know, dripped nail polish on it, kind of like that last Nicole by OPI. But this is an interesting shade of like deep watermelon red, like a reddish pink, a pink leaning red or a red leaning pink. I actually want to try this one. I don't have too many colors in this particular shade family, and I'm wondering if I might like it. It looks to be a cream formula, so probably good in 1 or 2 coats. And I am curious to see if I might like this one. So that one was LC. Next up we have another OPI. This one is called Japanese Rose Garden. This is an interesting shade of pink. Now, oddly enough, the name on this one does sound kind of familiar, and I'm not sure why. This is actually a shade of pink that I wouldn't mind trying. It's sort of dusty leaning. There's a lot of white in the base. It's a creamy formula, and there's a subtle shimmer in there. I think I'd like to see if I would like this on. It's a color that I'm at least curious enough to try out, so we'll swatch that one and see. That was Japanese Rose Garden. Ooh, here's another OPI. This one is called Maui Mango. Maui Mango. Well, that's kind of an odd name for this color. This is not mango-ish at all, but it is a beautiful shade. This is like a deep rose that leans a little on the brown side. It is a cream formula, and this is a gorgeous tone. This might need a little bit of thinner, but you can see that color there. It's really, really pretty. So I will be holding on to that, seeing if I can't fix it up with a little bit of thinner. It's a really beautiful shade. So that was OPI's Maui Mango. All right, let's see if we can't finish up this middle aisle. We have another one from Creative Nail Designs. This one has no label. This is a beautiful purple. It has a metallic sheen to it. This is probably one that I don't have. I don't have too many from this brand. I think I may have only had like 1 or 2 bottles. I really like this color though. I mean, obviously I am a purple fan. If you are not new to my channel, you'll know that. Yeah, I want to see how this compares to some of my other purples and see if I like the formula. So that was another one from Creative. We've got another OPI. This one also has no label. This one is sort of a salmony coral shade with a gold glimmer. This is an interesting color. I actually don't mind the gold matched with this color for whatever reason. And it's, again, most likely a color that I don't have. Here's that color on the brush. Yeah, I like this. I want to see how I like it on. And like I said, it's most likely a color that I don't have, so we'll be adding that to the collection to swatch and see. That was OPI's No Label. All right, so I think that finished up one little segment. I'm gonna move some of this so we can see what we have. All right, so we have another one from Creative Nail Designs. This is Juicy Watermelon. It's an interesting sort of a Pepto-Bismol-y, ever so slightly coral leaning color. So I did already get 1 bottle in this in part 1, so I will be keeping one and destashing the other. I do need to swatch it and see if I like it though, but that was Creative Nail Designs Juicy Watermelon. Another OPI, this one is called It's My Prerogative, and this name is ringing a bell, but the color isn't so much. I remember one time I got a manicure at a nail college, and the color had something to do with travel. Prague sticks in my head, but it might have been something else. I'm curious if this is it, because I mean, it was a very, very long time ago. No, this one's pretty sheer. It was probably another color, but in any case, you can see here it's a little on the sheer side. You have a bunch of shimmer in there. It's an interesting sort of an orangey red. But it has a beautiful shimmer to it. I am curious how this would look on its own and also how it looks maybe as a topper. So we'll be adding that to the collection to at least swatch and see. That was OPI's It's My Prerogative. Next up we have one from Creative Nail Designs. This one is called Eris. This is another beautiful purple. Look at that. You have some shimmer in there as well. I think sort of like a purple on purple. Of course, as a purple fan, it's definitely got my attention. I definitely want to at least swatch this and see how I like it, see how it compares to some of the other purples that I have. So that was Creative Nail Designs, Eris. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Hollywood and Wine. This is a beautiful, deep brown leaning oxblood. This is beautiful. I definitely want to try this out. Yeah, I like this. On the brush, it definitely has more of a brown lean to it. So you can see on the neck there, that burgundy. But then see how it layers up over itself? It's definitely got a brown pinch to it. And I don't think I have any burgundies that are this tone. So I want to see how it compares, see if I like it. I think this would be a beautiful one for fall. So that was OPI's Hollywood and Wine. Ooh, we've got another OPI. This one has no label. This is a beautiful shade of deep, deep berry leaning burgundy. There is some shimmer in here. Really pretty color. So again, I'm not sure what this one might be called, but it's beautiful. Look at that rich tone. That's beautiful. I don't know if that's going to show up at all because it is a very, very dark color, but I definitely want to give that one a try, swatch it, see if I like it, which I think I will. And then of course, try to track down a name because I need that if I want to add it to my collection. But that was OPI's No Label. And then just to see how it compares to Hollywood and Wine, here's a little bottle comparison of those two. There's definitely more of a purple lean to the unlabeled one and a brown richness to Hollywood and Wine. Next up, we have one from Creative Nail Designs. This is Blackberry Pie. This is another name that sounds familiar. I think I may have gotten a bottle of this in part 1. It is a really beautiful like lilac or lavender shade. Actually, I think I would go more for lilac. It's got that pinch of pink to it. This one also has a subtle shimmer to it. So since I did already get a bottle of it, I will be destashing one, keeping the other. Next up, we have one by OPI. This one is called Pistol Packin' Pink. And this is a very neutral, light peach. I wouldn't even classify this really as a pink. It's very, very light. Too light for me. I don't really enjoy these light white peaches on my skin tone, so I'll be passing that one along. Next up we have, oh, what is this? This is Polish with a paw in it by OPI. Color for nails for those with tails. Okay, interesting. So it's nail polish for dogs, as I'm understanding it. I have never seen such a thing. So this is an OPI product. I did not know they made nail polish for dogs, and this is called Poodle Pink. So it's a pink. It is one of those shades of pink that I'm just not that drawn to. It's sort of like a Pepto-Bismol sort of a shade. Maybe not quite Pepto-Bismol, but in any case, I will be passing this one along. It's just not one that I see myself reaching for, and I don't have any dogs to put it on. Next up, we have another Creative Nail Designs, and this one is called Moonlight and Roses. This is like an off-white shimmer polish. I have a bunch of this type, so I think I will be passing this one along. It is ever so slightly yellow leaning in the base, and yellows just aren't my favorite on my skin tone. I think I would pull out the yellow on my skin tone with that one, so I think I'll be passing that one along. Ooh, we have another little mini by OPI. This one also has no label, but look at the shifts on this one. This is also in need of some thinner, but this is gorgeous. Look at those colors. This is like a deep burgundy. It's got a pinch of purple or pink in the base, and that shimmer is beautiful. Gorgeous. Again, with these minis, this is the second mini. If you have any idea what these colors might be named, feel free to share them down below because I'm very curious what these are. I've never seen OPIs with this kind of shimmer in them, and it's beautiful. Very reminiscent of UP pigment. Just gorgeous. All right, next up we have one by Creative. This one is called Masquerade. This is a burgundy with shimmer. And this is definitely a color I could see myself reaching for, especially in the fall and winter. This is gorgeous. I will have to do some comparisons amongst my other burgundy shades, some burgundies and wines. As I mentioned before, these were my first foray into the red families, so this kind of color is definitely one that I enjoy. That is one going in the collection. That was Masquerade. Next up we have a pink by OPI. This is Your Villa or Mine. Now this is oddly enough kind of catching my attention, and I'm not sure why, because this is somewhat similar to the other Pepto-Bismol pink, but there is a gold shimmer to it, and there's a pinch of like peachiness to it. I don't know if that's gonna show up on camera very well, but I want to see if I would like this, so I'm gonna keep it to swatch and see. That was OPI's Your Villa or Mine. Next up we have another OPI. This is called Far East Fuchsia. Now this is the color of pink that I had really been enjoying for summer, these brighter neon-ish deep pinks, and this one has a blue to purple shimmer in it. So definitely want to hold on to this. Again, I'll have to do some comparisons and see how it compares to some of my other pinks that I have in my collection, but that's a beautiful one, and it's one that I don't have. So that was OPI's Far East Fuchsia, assuming I didn't get one in video number 1. If I did, one will destash. Okay. Next up is another OPI. This one is called Day at the Peach. We have another holo. So we did get a couple of holos by OPI in part number 1 from this box, and I have been very impressed, at least in the bottle, by how these look. This is stunning. Now, I'm not 100% sure I will like this one on. It might lean a bit neutral, but I want to give it a shot. It's a gorgeous color, and it's another one that I definitely don't have yet. So that was OPI's Day at the Peach. We've got another from Creative. This one is called Jiggy. Ooh, this is a beautiful purple, sort of a blurply periwinkle shade. Again, with this kind of color, I will have to compare it to ones that I already have, but this is definitely catching my attention. That blue with purple is another favorite combination of mine, if I can get that in focus. This seems like it might need a bit of thinner to help it out, but it's a gorgeous color. So that was Creative's Jiggy. Next up we have, okay, another drugstore brand. They've been few and far between, but this one is LA Colors, and I don't see a name on it. It does have a bit of nail polish on it. I got some of it off, but this is a really pretty deep blue. It has a metallic sheen to it. Look at that. Now, I love blues, but I feel like I have plenty of sapphire-ish blues in my collection, so I will be passing this one along. Next up we have one by Zoya. This one is called Elodie, maybe? This is like a watermelon coral shade. It seems to be a cream formula. Whoa, maybe it used to be a lot brighter. Actually, on the brush, it's pretty bright. Look at that. Wow. I think yeah, I want to see how I might like this. I don't think it's one that I have, and I want to see how I would like this. I mean, it's a bright color. It's somewhat reminiscent of China Glaze's Flip Flop Fantasy, and I did enjoy that on, so I want to see how this compares, see if I like it. That is Zoya's Elodie. If I'm not pronouncing that correct, feel free to let me know down below. Next up, ooh, we've got another OPI fall shade. This one has no name, but look at this color. This is like a brown leaning burgundy. This is gorgeous. It has some copper flash to it, and actually I'm wondering if this is a repeat bottle from box 1 as well. All right, so not that I could find. I did find 2 that this might be reminding me of. The first one is the closest. This is another OPI called Bogota Blackberry, and it has a similar kind of description in that it's a deep berry burgundy with that copper shimmer. The one that is unlabeled is a bit creamier of a formula, whereas the Bogota Blackberry is slightly sheerer, and I don't mean like sheer, but it just doesn't have a very as creamy a base to it. So that one is a bit more shimmer heavy. And then the other one that has a similar shimmer in it is Peel Me a Gobi Grape, but it obviously is a purple. So this is one that I will be keeping as well. And again, if you know what this one might be named, feel free to share that down below. I absolutely love this one. So that was another OPI. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Senorita Rosalita. And this is an interesting shade of pink as well. Look at the shimmer in this one. This one almost has like a slight hollow to it. I don't think that it actually does, but it's a really interesting finish on this. I think it might just be that shimmer playing with the base. So this is a pink that leans purple, and I'm curious enough to at least try it and see if I like it. It is, again, one that I don't think I have. That was Senorita Rosalita. Next up, we have one from Creative Nail Designs, and this one is called Toxic Perfection. Ooh, look at this. This is a beautiful cantaloupe shade or coral, and look at that gorgeous glass fleck in there. This is definitely one I want to try. It's one that I'm pretty sure I don't have. Ooh, this is slightly squishy as well. I like this. I like the combination of this color with that beautiful glass fleck. So we'll have to see if I like it on, but that is definitely one I want to give a shot. So that was Creative Nail Designs, Toxic Perfection. Ooh, I didn't realize we had another OPI mini. So this also has no name. This is a pink, kind of like a bubblegum pink. Let's see if this is also a little bit on the dried out side. Not as bad, actually. So this one could be fixed quite easily with some nail polish thinner. I plan on fixing the other two that I am keeping. This, though, is more like a bubblegum pink, so I'm just not drawn to it as I was the two very unique shimmers. So I will be passing this along. Maybe it's a little freebie after I fix it. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Hot and Spicy. And this one is like a salmony, yeah, like a salmon orange. It's a very interesting color. I think I want to try this. It is just a cream formula, but the color is interesting. I don't know that I have anything quite like it that leans this salmon as far as my cantaloupe melon shade. So I want to see how this compares. That is OPI's Hot and Spicy. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Lazy Daisy Pink, and this is another very soft, like very light peachy skin tone. It is definitely a neutral. Again, this sort of color is just not one that I reach for. It's a little bit close to Pistol Packin' Pink, except it's a bit more saturated. I mean, just ever so slightly. So I will be passing this one along as well. Next up, we have one from Creative, and this one is called Infatuation. This is another beautiful shade, sort of like a mulberry. Ooh, it's got a squishy formula. I don't know if you can see that on the wand there, but it is a squishy jelly. I love this kind of color, so I will be holding on to this one, seeing if I like it on. And it looks like it needs a bit of a good shake. But yeah, we'll see how I like this one. That was Creative Nail Designs, Infatuation. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Wild West Wild Berry. And this is an interesting shade of pink, almost like a dark bubblegum pink. And then you have a silver shimmer in there that you can see settled there. Yeah, I'm just not too sure if I would like this one. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this one along. That was OPI's Wild West Wild Berry. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called You Can Alone Imagine. And this is another sort of a neutral shade. This is sort of like a, almost like a tan version of a peach. Yeah, see that sort of, okay, on camera they're looking very close. In person, this one has a slight tan lean, whereas Lazy Daisy Pink has more of a peach lean. They are pretty close, but in person there's a much bigger difference. This one also has like a copper glimmer or shimmer to it. You can sort of see that settled there in a line. So this is another one that I just don't see myself reaching for, so we will be passing this one along. That was OPI's You Can Only Imagine. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is Hawaiian Orchid. This is a light pink shimmer polish. This is another type of polish that I probably had a few of early on. This one I'm seeing mainly pinks, but I think I do see some purples. The base of this, though, is pretty soft, so I just don't think I would be reaching for this. I have already kept at least one shimmer polish from this box, so I think I'll be passing this one along as well. This is OPI's Hawaiian Orchid. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Pool Time Lime, and this is a very light lime green. Has a lot of like white in the base and some subtle shimmer. This one may have faded. I think you can see around the neck of the bottle it possibly used to be a bit brighter. This is a kind of green that I just don't see myself reaching for. I have recently discovered that I don't like lime greens on me, which is kind of a bummer because I had a few polishes that I was really excited to try in the lime green family. But it turns out I prefer them to be a very specific shade of not quite lime green, more like key lime pie, like key lime pie jello, if that makes sense. A bit more white leaning. And this is a pastel, but So I think I will be passing this one along. That was OPI's Pool Time Lime. Next up we have another purple from Creative. This is Rebel with a Cause. This is another gorgeous purple polish. You have some shimmer in there. I do have obviously quite a lot of purples. This one does need a bit of help with some thinner. I want to say that this might be hollow. I couldn't quite tell if that was like a metallic or a hollow, but I'm leaning towards possibly it's a hollow. Well, let's go ahead and swatch this one. I don't think I've swatched any in this video yet. I'll go ahead and add a bit of thinner and swatch this to see if I want to keep it. I don't need to have every single purple that was ever in existence. So I've just added a few drops of nail polish thinner. This is the one that I'm using. It is from OPI. And the thing to keep in mind with nail polish thinner is you want to make sure that you don't add anything into your nail polish that wasn't already there. This one is a 2-ingredient thinner with butyl acetate and ethyl acetate. And as far as I'm aware, those are 2 things that are usually in nail polish already. And this is safe for indies as well, most of the time. Again, definitely check your ingredients. But on that note, with thinning out your nail polish, don't use nail polish remover. You can damage your nail polish over time. All right, so that is already looking better. And I'm taking back the hollow. Look at that. That is like a chrome purple finish. Interesting. All right, let's see how it swatches. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is definitely chrome, like almost a chrome. Not quite super silvery, but look at that. Interesting. That's pretty. Not as dark as I thought it would be. Let's see how a second coat works or looks. Yeah, it doesn't seem to deepen it up very much. I am a little surprised at how light this is compared to how it was looking in the bottle. It is a bit streaky, but it is a really pretty color. And actually, I guess the lightness is just a matter of lighting. In certain lights, it still has that rich depth to it. I like it. I like it enough to try. So we're going to keep that, see how it compares to some of my other purples and see if I'm drawn to it over the course of the next year or so. That was Creative Nail Designs, Rebel with a Cause. Next up we have another Nicole by OPI, and this one I think has a little bit of spillage. The lid was a little bit loose. Alright, so this one was Nicole by OPI's Enchantress. Now this name does definitely ring a bell. I want to say I got a bottle of this in part 1, and I think I kept it to try, so we will be keeping one and destashing the other. Next up we've got another from Creative Nail Designs. This one is called Nostalgia. This is an interesting shade of like a camel tan, and there is a golden shimmer in there. This is actually a color that I wouldn't mind trying for fall. It might be a little bit close to my skin tone, but I think it has a bit of warmth in it. Actually, it seems a bit sheer. Well, let's go ahead and swatch this one too, because I was gonna say I was gonna keep it, but it doesn't seem as creamy as I was thinking, which might make it be even more my skin tone than a camely tan. Yeah, this is a bit lighter than I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be a bit more of a cream formula and a bit more saturated. Well, let's give it a shot with 2 coats. We'll do a second coat. So a second coat does at least amp up the depth and richness. I don't know if it deepens it up to as dark as I was hoping. Yeah, especially on camera, it's definitely looking too light on me for my preferences. So I think we will be passing this one along. I think this could look beautiful on some skin tones, just not mine. So that was Nostalgia. Next up, we have another one from Creative. This one is called Juicy Watermelon, and I think this is our 3rd bottle of this one. Yeah, so we kept one, And we will be destashing the other two. Beautiful color though. Next up, we have another one from Creative. This one is called Infatuation. And I want to say I got another from, yeah. So I have two of Infatuation. It is one that I'm keeping, but we will be keeping one and destashing the other. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Outback Aphrodisiac. This is another one that I'm fairly certain I got in part 1. It was a beautiful shade. It is this gorgeous berry tone, but I don't need 2 bottles, so I will be destashing one, keeping the other. Again, I will have to do some comparisons, but look at this gorgeous shade. Really beautiful color. So that was OPI's Outback Aphrodisiac. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Connecticut Cranberry. And this is a really beautiful shade of like a pink leaning cranberry. There is a subtle shimmer throughout. I think this is a color that I would like to try. It's definitely not very red leaning. It's more of a berry fuchsia. Yeah, look at that color. That's beautiful. Definitely want to see about trying this. This seems like another one that would be perfect for fall. So that is OPI's Connecticut Cranberry. Ooh, we've got another Zoya. Look at this one. This one is called Adina. Now this is one that I have all on my own. I did purchase it from Zoya. It is a gorgeous color. It's so pretty that I in fact bought it twice. On accident. This is a gorgeous shade of purple. You have a beautiful shifting shimmer. I'm seeing gold and green, mainly green on camera, but it does shift to pink and gold. This is a stunning, stunning color. I think I already have one of my second bottles in destash. Oh, this is so pretty though. Let's go ahead and swatch this just because this is absolutely gorgeous. The green in this, you guys. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it. Look at that. So pretty. Let's go ahead and do a second coat. I mean, I already know I have one for myself, but I just want to see how it looks. It's just so pretty. There we have 2 coats. The shimmer on this is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, that green. This actually could be a potential for fall. I wasn't really considering this kind of color for fall, but that green glow is really cool against this purple base. That's beautiful. So yeah, I will actually want to double check and just make sure that I didn't accidentally destash both bottles, but this is gorgeous. All right, next up we have another OPI. This one is called Peruby Ruby. This is a beautiful sort of pinky leaning red. There is some gold shimmer that might have a subtle shift. Now this is a red. It's also got like a squishy formula. I don't know if you can see that on the wand there. But it is a red, and I have been keeping quite a few reds anyway, so I don't think I need another one. So I think we'll be passing this one along. That was OPI's Peruby Ruby. Next up, we have another from Creative Nail Designs. This one is called Gypsy A Go-Go. Now, the name of this also sounds pretty familiar. Yeah, so I got one in part 1. So I will be holding on to one and destashing the other. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Nantucket Mist. This is pretty. This is sort of like a tan-leaning mauve-y pink neutral. This is definitely a color family of pinks that I do enjoy. Sort of reminds me of like Essie's Ladylike, although I think this one is a bit lighter and a bit more peach maybe. I do like this kind of color family in pink, so I do want to give this one a shot. I again will have to do some comparisons and make sure that I don't have something too close, or make sure that I do like it on my skin tone, but that was OPI's Nantucket Mist. Next up we have one by OPI. This is called Loyalty Islands Lilac, and this is an interesting shade. I wouldn't exactly call this lilac. To my eyes, it's more of like a very, very soft gray with a whole lot of shimmer in there. I don't know that I would see myself reaching for this. It sort of reminds me of one of the Zoyas that we had in part 1, a very, very light light gray. I just don't know that it's saturated enough for my skin tone, so I will be passing this one along. That was OPI's Loyalty Islands Lilac. This is another OPI called Wild West Wildberry. So the name of this sounds familiar. It is a different like year of the polish, but I do already have one of these. I don't remember if I kept it or not. Nope, I did not. So here's both bottles. We will be going ahead and destashing those. All right, next up we have this one by OPI called Flashbulb Fuchsia. Now this is more my kind of pink, this fuchsia deep pink. This also has like a glass fleck shimmer particle. Definitely adding this to my collection. That one is one that I could see myself reaching for. So that is OPI's Flashbulb Fuchsia. Very pretty. Okay, we have another OPI. This one is called Virgin Island Velvet. Ooh. This is also a color I could see myself reaching for. It's sort of got a dusty, almost like a tan leaning orchid base. Then it has some shimmer. This is very unique. I think it might need some cleanup. It's got a bit of some other polish dried on the cap, but that is a beautiful color. So we'll be adding that to the collection. Hopefully I can open it. That is OPI's Virgin Island Velvet. Next up we have another from Creative. This one is Gilded Lily. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. So this is like a very hard to describe actually, kind of like a tan purple. And of course it's loaded with metallic. This is beautiful. I want to see how this one swatches as well. I'm rather surprised to see that it isn't as metallic on the nail, but look at that shimmer. The color on this is very unique. Let's go ahead and do a second coat of that. Don't think I got quite enough on the brush there. There we go. Yeah, this is a very neat color. Yeah, I like this one. I like this a lot. It's got that neutral undertone to it, a bit of tan, a bit of purple. Very cool. All right, so adding that one to the collection, that is Creative Nail Designs Gilded Lily. Next up, we have another one from Creative. This one is called American Pie. Ooh, look at this color. So this is like an orchidy purple. You also have some shimmer in there that I see is like a blue and purple. This is a gorgeous color. Definitely one that I could see myself reaching for. Oh yeah, that is lovely. So we'll be adding that to the collection. That is Creative Nail Designs American Pie. Only a few more, you guys. The next one is another OPI, and this is Nomad's Dream. This is an interesting color. It's sort of like a tan. Yeah, I would describe that as kind of like an ever so slightly peach leaning tan, and it is full of a green shimmer. I'm curious how this would look because I could see it looking pretty and I could see it looking kind of, ooh, it just depends on a few things. Okay, so mostly I'm seeing just the peachy tan, mostly peach on that first coat. So I definitely would not like that on my skin tone. Let's see if it deepens up with a second coat though. Nope, not really. It's still kind of an interesting shade, but just not as glowy green as it was in the bottle. So yeah, not really a me color. We'll be passing that one along. I think this would look really gorgeous on darker skin tones. So that is OPI's Nomad's Dream. All right, a couple more. We have one from OPI, another hollow. This is Crimson. Look at that. This is another one of their hollows. I don't know that I had seen hollows from OPI before this box. Was I missing something? Most of the polishes that I saw from them were more along the lines of like this kind of a shimmer polish or a sheer shimmer polish or a cream, of course. So I don't know that I even was aware of this formulation from them, and I've got a few from this box and I'm keeping them because they're gorgeous. This is like a deep red with a pinch of like orange in it. I think you can see that around the wand. And then of course it is loaded with hollow. It's another one that I definitely don't have, so we'll be keeping that one as well. That was OPI's Crimson. All right, two more. We've got one from OPI, and this one is called Prince George's Passion. Ooh. Now, oddly enough, the name is sounding familiar, but I don't know why. I think maybe I have one called like Pepe's Purple Passion or something along those lines. But this is another color that I think is beautiful for fall. It's another one that I'm fairly certain I don't have. Oh yeah, this is gorgeous. Look at that. Sort of a red leaning brown or a brown leaning red with some purple in it as well. That is gorgeous. Definitely adding that to the collection. That is OPI's Prince George's Passion. And the last one comes from Creative Nail Designs. This one is called Family Secret. This is a beautiful shade of brown with some gold. Look at that. It's a bit on the cool side. I do want to swatch this one as well and see if I might like it. Oh, interesting. So it's more like a smoky jelly. Did not see that. Interesting. Let's see if a second coat deepens that up. Oh yeah. I think I might like this one. I mean, we'll have to, of course, see if I like it on my skin tone. But there it is in two coats. I don't know. I might like it. I might like it. I might not. We'll just have to swatch it on me and see at some point. But I like it, so we're gonna keep it. And like I said, swatch it and see. That was Creative Nail Designs Family Secret. All right, so there we have it. That was part 2 of my Salon brand mystery box. So this is both boxes of my keeps with some of my destashed polishes here from part 2. And to recap part 2, we unboxed 59 full-sized bottles with 2 little minis from OPI for a grand total in this box of 113 bottles of nail polish plus 3 minis. I'm blown away by that because she was only charging 25 bucks for the whole lot plus shipping, which was about 16 or 17. So about $42 total for 113 bottles of nail polish. Wow. A very, very, very good deal. I'm very impressed by this. I was not expecting it to be this many bottles. I think I was expecting it to be at most about 50. I did not realize it was such a huge tote. So very pleasantly surprised. I think I got some gorgeous fall colors, beautiful array of these fall tones, which is perfect because I am building my fall rack. And as you can see, I'm already wearing my fall shades. I've been wearing this one so long, it's chipped already. But I'm really excited about a lot of these OPIs and a lot of the ones from Creative as well. So yeah, really impressed by the box. So another place to keep your eye out for mystery boxes if you are in the market to get some, check out Facebook Marketplace, search nail polish. Now, not everyone is going to be willing to ship, but you can always check locally and see if anyone in your area is doing like a door pickup. So there we have it. That was another mystery box. Hopefully you enjoyed looking at some salon brands this time. If you are new to my channel, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos, and I will see you in that next one.